just make your life more about not resisting anything, not resisting your current reality, not resisting whatever emotions are trying to come up, not resisting your personal truth, you will inevitably become a very aligned person. So, what I recommend people to do is, in general,
Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Naturally Empowered Living, your safe space to guiding you on your unapologetic self-awakening journey. This is your weekly sanctuary for waking up from autopilot and transforming the way you approach life through the power of meditation, energetics, and root cause therapy. It is my mission to help you heal unprocessed emotions and release stuck energies by alchemizing your struggle cycles into opportunities for deep self-love, awareness, trust, and connection, to return to your innate essence of being, stepping back into your energy of alignment. Because here, we honor all parts of ourselves, the messy and the magic, the shadows and the light, embodying all parts that make you, you. So if you are ready to get to the root of cultivating real change, get cozy, grab your journal and maybe favorite crystals, and let's discover our power within together. Hello, and welcome back to the Naturally Empowered Living Podcast. This is your host, guide, and mentor in all things energetics, emotions, and self-awakening, Jenna Smith. And I am so excited today to welcome Kelsey Aida to the show. She is a best-selling author, energetic alignment coach, and co-host to the top 1% podcast, High Vibin It. If you remember, a couple weeks ago, we had Lindsay Robinson, the other co-host of this podcast, on, so episode 185 for that. But Kelsey, oh my goodness, Kelsey, she helps people stop spinning their wheels with manifestation and actually get results. Like, hello, I am so excited to dive in. She also has an upcoming book that we will be getting to towards the end of this episode. So just super stoked. Welcome to the conversation, Kelsey.
thank you, Jenna. I'm so excited. I can already tell we're going to have a magical conversation. This is going to plant the healing earbuds that anyone needs today. So if you're listening to this, it's for a reason.
Yay, I love that. Thank you for just setting that stage. Now, let's start at the beginning. Like, I want to hear about you, your journey, what led you into energetic alignment, manifestation, just what really led you to where you are today. Go anywhere with this.
Yeah, so it's kind of a long two-part story, but as many healers' journeys begin with like a dark night of the soul. So like my first dark night of the soul, as I call it, is when I was training my whole life to be a professional ballerina, to be a professional dancer, and then like many young dancers, I got injured, and that was like heartbreaking and devastating, and I felt like it just threw off my whole life, my whole identity. I spiraled into a deep, dark, depressive episode that I got stuck in for about 3-ish years. And then towards the end of that, I kind of said this like Hail Mary prayer. And I was like, okay, God, spirit team, whoever's out there, whoever's assigned to me, like, send me help. I will act on it. I'll do whatever I need to do to feel better, to heal, to get better. Because I know, like, I'm not my depression. Like, I didn't always used to be like this. I used to have hobbies and friends and energy and zest for life and bubbly attitude and whatever. And that was all gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I said that prayer and I started working with a great therapist. I started working with a shaman. I started learning about energy and healing and emotions and manifestation. Everything was just like clicking because I've been here many lifetimes. So it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like everything felt like a remembering.
Mm-hmm.
And I started implementing what I was learning. I healed, I got better, and I was like, what the freak? Why is this not more accessible information that we're learning in schools and just talking about in everyday life? Like, why do we have to go through so much struggle when we have all of these tools and practices available to us? So that's when I decided I wanted to start sharing and teaching. And then over the years, that kind of just blossomed into like this blog, books, the podcast, High Vibin It, international self-love retreats, a bunch of like healing gifts for me coming online, using those with people. And then the second part of that story, a couple years after that, was like a second awakening, I would call. And it was like, for lack of a better way to phrase this, like a spontaneous Kundalini awakening.
Oh my gosh,
And
I just got chills.
yeah, I had been through a really, really rough breakup with my high school sweetheart who I thought I was gonna marry, but then of course like we just grew apart, whatever. It was no like hard feelings, but it was just devastating to lose what I thought like was gonna be the rest of my life again. So of course, starting with loss, spiraling, there's a theme. So I was releasing all those emotions, just feeling that grief, healing through the breakup. I had moved across the country so I could just like not be reminded of anything and just go in this new place, live by myself, not know anyone. And while I was processing and grieving and like shedding all that emotional density, something happened. And one day I had like a spicy moment, let's say, with a fling. And afterwards, I felt, because of all the like emotional processing I had been doing, I felt like there was like electricity running up and down my spine, like in
Mm-hmm.
a way that I had never felt before. And I'm very connected to my body because I'm a dancer, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that's so weird. Like, what a strange sensation. Like, what's happening to me? The next day, I'm just reflecting on that weird moment. And I was like, what actually happened? And in my head, I heard the words, you had a Kundalini awakening. And I was like, okay, well, I've heard of Kundalini yoga because I like learned vinyasa yoga, like I'm certified in that, but I've never practiced Kundalini yoga. So I was just like, let me look into this. What does
Yeah.
this mean? And I texted my most psychic friend at the time, the shaman that I had worked with previously, and he was like, "Oh yeah, girl, like don't worry about it. It's just chill Kundalini awakening. Like you totally are just having this up leveling moment. Like all your gifts are gonna come online. Like it's chill." And I was like, "This is not chill. This is crazy." Because then I felt like overnight I became like this psychic medium, even though it wasn't overnight because I always had like channeling abilities, but I guess I didn't know or call it that, right?
Mhm.
But anyway, so then all my gifts opened up and exploded wide open, and that only helped the work that I've been doing. And so here we are now, bunch of books, podcasts, retreats, awakenings, healings later, and we're just trying to help the people live their best life, you know?
Seriously. Oh my gosh. I do know. No.
You know.
That's just so beautifully said. And something that sticks out to me is when you're like, I was learning all this stuff and, working with this and this therapist and the shaman. And you're like, everything was like a remembering. Like, I knew this already. And I just feel I resonate with that a lot because it's like, I don't jump from thing to thing to thing to thing, but I'm like, no, I want to like, I want to learn this, but I also want to like embody it to like remember it.
Yes.
So then to be able to bring it, and I was like, why is this not common knowledge? So very much resonate with all of that. Ah, okay. So something I want to jump into because I think it's going to be a really good segue into something that's upcoming within your life too. But just reading up on you and looking at your website and just chatting, chit chatting back and forth, something that you really harness is working with people dealing with resistance. And what is resistance to you within the work that you do within the manifestations? Because, like I said before we hit record, like I work in somatics and I work with the resistance a lot too. So, what is that sneaky resistance? Like, tell me more.
Yeah. So, what I've found in my work in trying to help people live their best life, manifest their dreams, love themselves more, like whatever the goal is, I've found over the years, like the only thing that's stopping us from achieving those goals is usually some sort of like hidden or subconscious form of resistance. So it's like, I want to manifest love, but I'm really traumatized from my last 10 situationships and I actually never want to experience that again. So let me not even try for love. Or it's like, I want to manifest more money, but I feel selfish for wanting more. Or I want to ask for the raise, but such and such is probably more qualified than me. Like, let me just disqualify myself before even asking so I don't get rejected. So it's like the but that comes after the thing that you want is one of the easiest, fastest ways to pinpoint some of your resistance. And the way that I like to think of resistance is it's like a push pull energy, right? So, like, a part of you, the conscious part of you, is like, I want to manifest this thing, this life, this identity, this feeling, this house, this car, this whatever, right? But then subconsciously, there could be an aspect or multiple aspects of you that are like, girl, no, that is not safe. We don't want to do that. We're going to have to change. That's scary, blah, blah, blah. So it's like you have this push pull energy going on energetically of I want the thing, but part of me doesn't want the thing. I'm confused. I'm sending mixed signals to the universe, and now nothing can fully manifest. And if it is manifesting, it's going slow. You're feeling stuck. You're self sabotaging. You're procrastinating. You don't know why. That's your resistance. So I feel like up until now, the conversation has been here's how to manifest: meditate, visualize, journal it out, do all the methods, which I love me a good manifesting method. I've written books on the manifesting methods, right? Like they're great, they're fun. That is the intention setting piece. But then you do those and you're like, why isn't it working? They
Mm.
freaking told me if I
Yeah.
asked for it, I would receive it. Why am I not receiving it? Right. So that's where now my latest book, my upcoming book, The Manifesting Fix, which is actually already available for pre sale. So it's like starting to be born into the world, is like the solution to that of like, okay, in between the asking and the receiving, there must be a piece we've been missing, which is the alignment piece, which to me, alignment is like the opposite of resistance and they live on a spectrum.
Mhm.
So if you have a lot of resistance, you're not in that much alignment based like in relation to that topic or that thing that you want. But the more you work through your resistance and delete it and get rid of it and transmute it, you come into more alignment with your goals. So that's kind of how I would describe it. Is that making sense?
Yes, and I love that because I use like a line also. So I just want to like merge this for our listeners for a second
Yeah.
because how I work with my clients and just speaking on this show too is like again, you visualize that line and on one side is like your desire, on the other side is where you're at now. When does it start to feel a little bit uncomfy? Like when is that maybe that trigger or that sensation or that, is it a constriction or when does that difference, that sensation pop in? And that is, I call it like that nexus point of like that point is now what we're gonna blossom open and explore and get curious, not judge,
Yeah.
all those things. So I love
Yeah.
that was just a beautiful visualization to piggyback off of kind of how I speak of that too. I love it. Yes.
Perfect. So we're totally aligned on the alignment
I
aspect because really, like,
yes.
my work is, different levels. Sometimes it's mindset work, sometimes it's body work, sometimes it's soul work, higher
Mhm.
self work, whatever you want to call it, shadow work. I mean, all of like resistance releasing, I feel like is kind of like shadow work, but
Right.
that's just like a scary term that scares people. So I don't call it like, I don't say, oh, my new book is a book full of shadow work, but like it basically is
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you're finding the stuck point that you didn't realize that you even had. And then we're getting curious, like you said, curiosity being the key element
Mhm.
needed to resolve resistance because if you resist your resistance or if you make an enemy out of your resistance, then you're just going to get more resistant. You're just going to be more stuck. So that's not
Mhm.
helpful. So, right, we have to get curious. We want to be in a compassionate space for self. We want to come to some understanding. And through that, it becomes so much easier to work through the resistance. Throw it in the garbage if you're like, ew, I don't want to believe that anymore. What was I thinking? Taking
Mhm.
that on from my parents or my
Yeah.
teachers or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like, it can be easier or harder to resolve the resistance depending on what it is, which is why I had to write a whole book on like, if you have this type of resistance, here's a good way to resolve that. If it's like a worthiness wound, here's how we practice more self-love, like in a really practical, grounded way. If it's like parts work where a part of you is like, hell no, we ain't doing that. Then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, let's talk to her. Let's create some safety there. Let's build a relationship. So there's different like remedies for different types
Mhm.
of resistance, which is kind of what the manifesting fix is like the prescription for, I guess. But yeah, we all experience it. And the thing is like the people who are most successful in life and you look at them and you're just like, wow, they just really have it all together. Like they always get what they want. Like, how are they doing all this stuff? Like, they're not better than you. They're not luckier than you. They're not like God's favorite. None of that. They just know how to deal with their resistance when it comes up, which
Mhm.
it always comes up for everyone. So it's not to say like, oh, resistance is the enemy. You shouldn't have it. No, it's a natural part of the up leveling process. But what is your relationship to it?
Yeah.
And can you get masterful in the skill of working with it and through it?
So well said. I love it.
Thank
And I
you.
mean, that's something I talk with my kids about. Like, you're not alone. Feelings are always okay. Like the validity behind it. It's so,
Yeah.
so good. So, so
And the
good. So,
feeling piece, I mean, I'm glad you brought that up
yeah.
because so many people are secretly resisting their feelings, and that's why they're stuck. And
Hmm.
they've been told in the law of attraction manifestation space, oh, don't feel anything bad. Don't think any bad thoughts. So then you're like, oh my God, I can't be sad. I can't be
Hmm.
mad. I can't be this. I can't be that. Like, let me stay away from that. But then what you're really doing, as you know, is just suppressing it for it to like fester inside of you. And then it
Right.
actually does become one of your point of attractions versus if you breathe through it, hold space for yourself, let it pass like a wave,
Mhm.
like emotions are waves. On the other side, you'll find relief and come back into alignment. But we're not
Exactly.
willing to like touch it or go there 99% of the time. And then that's why you can't get to your next level.
I know. I know. It's so simple, but then it's like backwards because of how we're conditioned. And I hope that I'm saying this the right way because it's
Yeah.
like sometimes I don't know how to put words to what I have inside.
Yeah.
But very much in terms of like, oh, well, if I feel XYZ or feel the fear or the grief or whatever, I'm going to make more of it. And that goes to your point of like the manifestation 101 stuff to where it's like, no, that's actually like ass backwards, like allow it to feel energy, in motion is the emotion. And oh, so much goodness. So I don't want to give any
Yes.
spoilers for your book, but
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
what are like some practical ways for like shifting from that resistance into alignment to um creating that desire? If you want to go into specific details with money or love or relationships, feel free, but like what are just some practical ways to start working through resistance?
Yeah. So one of my favorite tools in just the help yourself space is self-inquiry. So if we ask better
Mhm.
questions, we get better answers, right? And step one in my two-step resistance release come back into alignment process I teach in the manifesting fix is that first you have to identify what your resistance is. Bringing it from the subconscious to the conscious is muy importante because when you do
Mhm.
that, then you can see it for what it is, and then you have power to do something with that. If it's just floating around in the back of your head and you don't know that it's running the show
Mhm.
from backstage, then it could be secretly like sabotaging your love life or keeping you playing small with money or ruining your health or whatever it is, right? So we have to bring it to the surface. So step one is to identify the resistance. Now, how I like to do this, one of the easiest, simplest ways that people can start today at home is just ask yourself, and maybe you want to meditate on this question or journal about it, is there any part of me that's not on board with what I say I want?
Mm.
And then you shut up and then you listen. And a lot of resistance, if you have it, will come up to play. It will raise its hand and it will be like, I don't think we should have more money because I don't want to pay more taxes. I don't think we should become more healthy because then we can't eat pizza. I don't think we should do this because XYZ excuse or hesitation or fear or dangerous perceived thing, right? So it's like, asking yourself, is there any part of me that's maybe not on board with what I think I want? Or is there any part of me that thinks it might be bad to get what I want?
Mhm.
That's a great starting place. And then what I referred to earlier, example wise, of like, I want this, but look to your butts of your goals. Write down your goals and say, I want this thing, but if I'm being honest with myself, I'm scared because XYZ. Or I want this thing, but I feel cringy about it because this. Or I want
Mhm.
this, you know, dream house, but like, who am I to have such a dream, like big house? That's stupid. I don't need all that space, you know? So it's like,
Mhm.
those are two really solid, concrete ways to start finding the resistance. Now, once you find it, that's where things get fun. And you have to start to look at it with a very open, honest, curious lens, not the enemy. Remember, resistance is just a part of the creation process. Nothing wrong with you for having it. Okay. We're just going to bring it to the surface so we can do something about it. So then you look at the resistance and you go, okay, is this actually true? Do I want to keep believing this? Where did this even come from? Is this even mine? That's when you get into the follow-up questions so you can
Mhm.
decide what to do with it next. But a lot of the time you'll write down one of these things and you'll be like, oh, that's silly. I don't want to
Mhm.
do that anymore, you know?
Mhm.
So 50% of the time it's as easy as seeing it, throwing it in the garbage. The other 50% of the time, there might be a little bit more work to be done. Let's say if you discover that you have some worthiness wounds, you're not feeling enough for love or whatever, then it's like, okay, this is your invitation to like get on the self-love train. Here's how, let's do that. Make that an
Yeah.
intention of your life. Practice it, step into it. It will get easier over time. Like, so it depends. Some fixes super quick. Other fixes will send you on a whole spiritual side quest to become the new and improved version of yourself who is more aligned with everything you say you want.
Yeah, and you answered my next question because I was going to ask, I love that. You answered or I was going to ask how you see like the emotional healing or like imprints or the stuck emotional, the energetic piece to that, how that fits into, let it be the manifestation process, or simply, if you want to term it, releasing the resistance. I'm
Yeah.
stumbling over my words. So that's just so cool how you said, like, sometimes it's as easy as like, hey, it's just been kind of lingering back here, let's bring it to our conscious awareness because it hasn't been. Oh, that's not true. Let's, what's the present life? That could have been a past, belief, or however it imprinted within your subconscious. So in terms of like that emotional healing, just because again, like this show, I talk a lot about the alignment, the just
Yeah.
from a different angle, I guess you could say, more from that emotional, unprocessed emotional, the survival patterns, the parts work,
Hmm.
the emotion or the nervous system dysregulation. So do you go into that more like in your book, the emotional wounds piece?
I have like a feeling is healing practice slash meditation slash life mantra that
Yeah,
I
I love it.
encourage people in the book because here's the thing. It's not so much that like you have to self-identify of like, oh, this is my stuck emotion or whatever, but it's like if you just make your life more about not resisting anything, not
Mhm.
resisting your current reality, not resisting whatever emotions are trying to come up, not resisting your personal truth, you will inevitably become a very aligned person. So what I recommend people to do is in general have a deep and deepen your relationship with your emotional body.
Mhm.
Now, this can be scary to do by yourself, which is why there's people like you and me who can hold your hand while you do it so you know
Mhm.
that like you're not going to die and there's someone present with you and it's going to be okay.
Mhm.
Cuz the lie that we feel and have been taught is like, "Oh my gosh, if I touch that feeling, I'm going to get stuck in it. I'll never get out. It's going to destroy me. It'll be the death of me." And it's like, "Girl, your body was literally designed to feel.
Mhm.
Your emotional body knows how to heal itself if you give it the time and the space to do so. But we usually don't because we say, oh, I don't have time to be sad, or I don't have time to be upset about this, or that's dumb to be angry about that boundary being crossed. Like, psh, whatever, moving on with my day. But
Mhm.
it's like whatever is wanting to be felt through you, it will usually keep coming up until you feel it. So it's
Mhm.
like a little like, mom, mommy, like in the background,
Mhm.
like it'll keep asking for your attention. And the universe, clever universe, your life, will keep feeding you instances to feel the feeling that you've probably been avoiding. So it's not like
Mhm.
you have to go looking for this feeling, it will find you. Okay. Your feelings will find you. And then when they do, you have to create a safe processing moment for that. So, at work might not be the time, at a family gathering, maybe we can save our triggers for like when we get home and then we can
Yeah.
cry about it, whatever. So it's like find a safe space where you can take 20 minutes and say, okay, you know what? I've really been suppressing my sadness lately, or I'm feeling kind of stressed about this, or whatever. And you have to isolate the feeling from the thoughts about it. So,
Mhm.
whatever caused the feeling, not that I don't care, but I don't care. Doesn't matter. Like whatever's in your body, that's what we're going to focus on. So that's where
Mhm.
the somatic work comes in, right? So it's like, where am I feeling the sensation in my body? If the sadness had like a color or a flavor, like what would that be? Let me breathe through it as I let it rise in my system. Let me love myself through this uncomfortable sensation. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Do not judge. Don't make
Mhm.
stories about it. Don't make it mean something bad about yourself. And if you do that for long enough, you'll naturally come to a space of relief. It's crazy because you think, oh my gosh, I'm going to get stuck. It's going to be so
Mhm.
scary. I might die. I'm going to be so uncomfortable. My heart will break. I will fall on the floor. I'll never recover. But it's like, girl, you will recover if you
Yeah.
actually feel your feelings instead of just thinking about your feelings. Because
Yeah.
most people, they're like, oh, I feel my feelings all the time, super connected to my feelings. They're just thinking about what caused it, how it's ruining their life, how they don't have time for it, how inconvenient, blah, 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 making up stories about themselves and their life because of that sensation. And it's like, have you ever stopped to just be with the sensation in its isolated form
Mhm.
with no judgment and lots of breath work? Because when you do that, it's a very different experience. You don't spiral, you process and you move on.
Mhm. Exactly. And something I feel, I have like five questions and I'm going to try to put this all into one
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking of client work, right?
Mhm.
When that feeling, or like telling someone, creating that safety, right? Creating that safety, we have to pendulate, back and forth sometimes too. And sometimes it
Yeah.
takes a couple meetings, but just being, people don't know how, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like, oh, what am I doing wrong? I need to fix it. Like we're so quick to like the analyze, the jumping to the
Yes.
understanding, to where it's like, yeah, that will come after, because that's something that going back to teaching or guiding people
Yeah.
into, is just being. And you really hit that, because we get so connected and we think that we're feeling our feelings, but we're still stuck in that analysis or analyzing or fixing or understanding, or why am I feeling this, versus that bottom up approach of like, let's just be. But it's like, well, then what? Like what am I supposed to do? It's like nothing. Just let it.
Nothing. You're supposed to love yourself through that uncomfortable sensation and breathe and breathe and breathe and be curious and watch it shift and shape and move in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, like when I do this with clients, when they're with the sensation and they don't shy away from it, they do get very valuable insights or a memory or some sort of clarity or some sort of breakthrough. And it's like those emotions have these special little keys, like to your personal truth and what's going to make you the happiest. But if you don't touch those negative feelings, you're not going to get the positive message.
Yeah,
So you're not going to be able to make the positive change.
exactly. Boom. Boom.
Boom.
Like it's like thinking, like having a good cry, right? And you're like, why? Like just that sob. And then afterwards, it's like the rainbow, like the clouds are moving and
Yes.
that rainbow. And maybe you're like, okay, that was not necessary, but it still was, because
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, I made mountains out of molehills, or, then you're talking yourself down, but it's like, no, 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 don't do that. Because now you feel that clarity, or you have that clarity or that understanding or that solution or that roadmap as to
Yep.
what's next. And
Yeah.
I know that crying isn't always a good example, because a lot of people aren't able to cry, stepping into this work, because it's like, well, I've been told not to cry for so many years, or that
Right.
suppression or regression. So just thinking of any like big emotion, or just like when you're frustrated or really overwhelmed, and then when that sensation calms, a lot of times, like what you're saying, that clarity or that solution or next step is presented. And it's
Yeah.
magic. Like it's magic.
It's actually really magical. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And people listening are probably like, these girls are crazy. They're telling me to like feel my pain and just breathe through it. Like, you're insane. No, thank you. But truthfully, like, and something I write about in the manifesting fix, I give the example of the American bison. Okay, this is so interesting.
Mm.
So they're the only mammal who goes towards and through a storm. So, like cows and stuff, they'll run away from the
Yeah.
storm, they'll take shelter. The bison, they're like, no, we know if we go through the storm, it'll be over faster. And it's the same thing with your
Yeah.
emotions. If you go through them instead of trying to run from them for months and years and decades,
Hmm.
you will process them much faster and come to greener pastures. But if you run away, you're never going to transmute it and process it and heal it. And then you're going to keep manifesting opportunities to feel it, ironically.
I I love that. And the irony, that's what yeah, it's not backwards, it's just the irony of it.
Yeah,
What I said earlier about how it's like we have it backwards sometimes, because we're trying to force and fix, when it's like, no, yeah. I didn't know that about bison. That's so
cool, right?
fun fact. Thank you for
Yeah, the
So,
American
okay, you
bison's badass.
I love it. You've been breadcrumbing, but let's like dive in now. Tell
Mhm.
us about the manifestation fix. Like you said, it's on pre-sale. So like tell us all the things.
Yeah, well, this is what it looks like. It has this pretty orange color.
I love it.
The book, so when I write a book, it's like has a consciousness and it tells me like what it needs to be
Mhm.
and like how to write it. So this book, let me tell you something. She was sassy. She was like, "You better
Mhm.
make me funny. You better make me practical," like literally threatening me. "You better make the cover orange because that's my power color that's gonna like heal
Uh,
everyone who has these problems." I was like, "Okay, girl, like slow down. It's okay." So the book is really like the manifestation 2.0 that like the whole manifestation community has been waiting for. Like, we were sold a lie, you just ask and receive, sure. But there's more to it than that, obviously. Otherwise, we'd all have abs,
Mhm.
and like perfect lives. If we
Yeah.
don't. So what's going on? And it's not even to say that we should like aim for some perfect life, but it's like your version of perfect is right there. It's
Mhm.
right there, but you just keep getting in your own way. So here's the guide to stop getting in your own way so you can actually freaking achieve your goals and desires this time instead of just making another disappointing vision board or another disappointing letter to the universe or whatever it is. So this is really like the manifestation troubleshooting guide, which is why I called it the manifesting fix, to
Mhm.
basically fix your vibes, fix your mind, fix your life.
Yeah.
Um, because some people were like, "Oh, manifesting fix, like we're addicted to manifesting." And I was like, "No, it's not that. It's not that. It's to fix the vibes, fix the problem, delete the resistance." And it's funny because it came to me in the form of like a blog post, like almost a decade ago. So this has been
Mhm.
a long time of doing research in my own life, working with clients, learning, channeling stuff from the universe, interviewing the universe about how the law of attraction works, all this stuff to put it into the book to give the people the answers that they want, need, and deserve.
I am so excited. I'm so excited because it's so true. Sometimes, like, I'll use the term manifestation because that's the normalized word.
Yeah.
But I don't really believe, like, I don't like all that comes with it though, because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
let me come in and sit now that I said manifesting, and now let's talk.
Yeah,
And I
basically, you have to package it like that because we're all like on this manifesting journey. But what I talk about in the book is like the process of manifestation is not only one of co-creating, it's a
Mhm.
process of becoming.
Mhm.
Who are you on the other side of all these limiting beliefs? Who
Mhm.
are you on the other side of, healing your mindset or feeling that feeling or going for the goal or dream? Like, let's find out. Let's
Mhm.
actually do it and see how cool and fun it can be. And when you get stuck again, you just do a little more resistance releasing work, bada bing, bada boom, back into
Mhm.
alignment. So it's like a never ending practice of every time I get stuck and I'm blocked and I'm stopping myself, I have practical tools to keep moving forward and work through that.
What's your favorite part of the book? Totally on the spot, but I'm like, it was
Favorite
just
part
ask
of
her.
the book.
Just ask
Well,
her.
I definitely like overshare some personal stories, which I was like, oh, should I put this in the book? Should I not put this in the book? I had to like change some details so it wouldn't be like too overly personal. But I think that's probably one of my favorite parts because my other books are more like informational guidebooks. They don't have as much of me in them.
Mhm.
This is very Kelsey coded, and my voice comes through very strong, practical, funny, trying to make you giggle, sassy, trying to call you out in a loving way. So it's a very like playful, real, and raw guide
Mm.
to here's how you've been keeping yourself stuck. Let's maybe not do that anymore. Here's how to do something different. And I hope you like it. So, really, I put so much of my heart and soul into this book to get like to this point where it's actually being published. I'm just like, oh, but I knew it would because the book told me it had to be traditionally published. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to self publish it. Like, I'll do that. I'll go through all the rejection for you. So it's just been like a calling, really,
Yeah.
a calling with very specific ways to produce this book. So I feel like I've been co-creating with the consciousness of the book, but also all the readers. I've been psychically inundated with all their questions on manifestation, law of attraction, why am I stuck? Is divine timing real? Like, what are the
Mhm.
myths? Like, where have I been lied to? And I'm a 5-1 manifesting generator. So I'm someone who is like literally designed to be like, here's the BS, here's what's true. Here's
Mhm.
something complicated, here's how to make it practical. So I just try to put all my gifts to good use, really, to give you guys a super comprehensive guide to essentially fix your whole life.
I love that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one note, I'm also a
Yeah.
5-1 manifesting generator. So you
Oh
said it.
my
I'm like,
gosh, what are the odds?
I'm not surprised. I'm sure that a lot of things are probably going to come to you, but just trusting that first thing that comes to you.
Mhm.
For the listeners, if there's one thing to leave them with, like to have a different perspective on
Yeah,
manifesting, or
yeah.
maybe within your book, what would it be?
Well, we didn't really touch on this yet, so I'm glad you gave me the opportunity, but it would be to really befriend your desire.
Mm.
Okay, we have like a bad relationship with desire, even in the spiritual new age community. It's like, desire is root of all suffering, blah, blah, blah. You shouldn't want anything outside of yourself because that means you're unevolved or whatever. And it's like, Desire is a natural part of the expansion process of the universe. When you want something, it's because God put that little seed into your brain, into your heart for you to make manifest. So they could expand through your consciousness and your experience. So, what I like to leave people with is if you are not following your desires, not only are you like basically shitting on the will of God, for lack of a better example, but you're also like creating internal warfare with yourself.
Mhm.
And you're also depriving everyone who's on the receiving end of that desire being made manifest. So, for example, if I was like, oh, I don't want to get rejected by publishers. I don't want to write 100,000 words and then put it down to 60,000 words. I don't want people to read my personal stories, blah, blah, blah. And I never publish this book. All the answers would not be available for all the people who have been asking for them, right? Or like if you want to start that coffee shop in your local neighborhood that everyone's dying to work from home at because they're sick of being in their kitchen and you don't do it, like they're all going to miss out. So your desires are not just about you, and
Mhm.
your desires, if they're like persistently pinging you and it's genuinely from your heart and your soul, it's not wrong. So I just say improve your relationship with desire, which the manifesting fix will definitely help you do. We get into that a lot. And let yourself want what you genuinely want and go in the direction of those things, knowing that they're not random. They were assigned to you.
Mm, so well said. I love that. And it brings me back to conversations I have with my little ones. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, but my 7-year-old getting into that talk more of like the depth, I probably still talk too over his head, but he says he understands. But in terms of like, Jay, if you can fail, failing, if you could fail 100 times knowing you will reach whatever that desired outcome is, wouldn't you want to fail as quickly as you could? And I just feel like that's so aligned with what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
better, your relationship with desire. Oh, so rich.
Hmm. Yeah, and in
Mm.
the book, I write this little story that a lot of people don't know about Jim Carrey's dad. So he was actually a really blessed comedian too, but he didn't pursue it as a career because he wanted to go like the safe route, the safe path. So he's like, let me become an accountant, right? But then he got fired from said secure job. So he
Mm.
realized, wow, I really just should have gone for what I actually wanted because you can fail at what you don't want. So you might as well like fail trying to get what you actually want,
Yes.
you
And
know?
learning, like building that relationship with yourself, like creating, like moving through those waves or those struggle cycles to deepen your self love, to deepen your
Yeah.
self trust and connection, to learn that discernment, like what is mine, what is not mine,
Yeah.
Oh, so good. So, okay, I know that you have your book coming out. Where can we find your book pre sale? But where can we find you, connect with you, support you, work with you? Tell us all about your services.
Yeah, so you can find me and my coaching services and my blog and all my books, even past books, on kelseyAida.com. I also have a couple of courses on there. There's a money manifesting one that people really love to get your money vibes on fleek, your mindset just revamped and revived because in this economy, you cannot afford to have a lack mindset. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, there's a radical self love course on there, which I'm probably going to refilm once I'm not burnt out from promoting this book. Which is a really good resource to help you deep dive into the self love side of things, which I think is the ultimate manifestation hack. Because when you love yourself more, your whole life just gets better. Just trust
Mhm.
me on that one. The book, you can just search The Manifesting Fix, Kelsey Aida, buy it wherever you purchase books. For me, it really helps if you pre-order through Barnes and Noble. I don't know if I'm really supposed to say that, but pro insider tip. That way they know, oh, people actually want this book, and then it might get better placement in the stores. So if you want to do me a favor, that would be amazing. And order it from
Awesome.
there. What else? High Vibin It podcast. I'm sure you'll link to it in the show notes. But since
Mhm.
you guys like listening to me yap and you've been here this whole 37 minutes, then join me over there. That's a really good free resource for everyone. And I'm just Kelsey Aida on all the socials.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I will link everything in the show notes below.
And
Also,
then I don't know if I said this or not yet, but the book technically comes out on December 1st. So if you pre-order it now, whenever this goes out, you will receive it to your doorstep on December 1st, the very first day when it becomes available. So that's really fun and exciting. And right now I'm in the process of creating a bunch of pre-order bonuses. So just follow me on social or my Substack, which I'll also give you the link to, so that when those bonuses go live, no matter when you pre-ordered, you can collect those as well. So just a little thank you for ordering it in advance.
I love it. Thank you so much. Gosh, this conversation just so rich. That's like the word that comes to me. So rich. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and just all the things so openly. I am so thankful. And to our listeners, I can't wait for you to listen to this episode. Everything will be linked in the show notes. Kelsey, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And until next week, our dear listeners, as always, simply be you. You have everything inside of you to learn your energy of alignment and be unapologetic in who you are. We are sending our love and light.
Did you find this episode free or empowering? Please read my review. Tickle, 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 boop.
Thank you for spending the sacred time with me on Naturally Empowered Living. If this episode brought you closer to stepping into your energy of alignment, I'd love for you to leave a written review and share how this show has supported your journey. Your feedback truly lights me up and helps others find the space of transformation. And sharing it with someone who might need it spreads the ripple of healing even further. Be sure to check the show notes for ways to connect with me and explore personalized healing sessions and mentorships to deepen your self-awakening journey. Thank you. I appreciate all you are and all you do.